evil planet.
I read a few of the headlines, and this is fucking bleak.
That fucking El Salvadorian like death camp, that fucking satellite image
Mm-hmm.
with like the bodies piled up and shit. At least that's what it looks like. I believe it's that because it doesn't look like anything else because there's like a shit ton of blood.
A friend of mine told me that they don't feed the inmates meat. So, and also, people that go into CCOT don't come out.
They don't.
So that one guy still hasn't been returned to the U.S., right? Like
Yeah,
he's still there.
Nope.
Yeah, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Well, I'm not butchering his name, but
There's there's other people too who are apparently innocent. Not just him.
There's the makeup artist. There's a few others. I don't really know them off the top of my head, but the most prominent one, the most known one, is Abrego Garcia. And I know that a lot of people are saying that this man is potentially, he's potentially dead. I'm gonna try and hold out hope that he's not.
It kind of reminds me of this one guy who was like arrested in North Korea.
Otto Warmbier,
Yeah, yep. And he basically came back, but he was like completely fucked up, like near death, and then he died
like a few days after he came back or something, I think.
Yeah, he came back in like critical condition from North Korea because he got beaten by guards and shit.
Yeah,
I feel really bad for his family.
Me too.
He's got 3 kids. 2 of them are apparently special needs. I've seen his wife do press meetings, and apparently there's a senator that's going to El Salvador to check, or has gone to El Salvador to check on him.
It's a concentration camp.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, we kind of have to call it what it is right now. America is essentially a dictatorship at this point. America is effectively a dictatorship, and if you don't believe me, we're going to go through a bunch of things here that I think, if you're intellectually honest with yourself, I'm not talking to either of you, obviously, but like anybody out there who's listening to this, you may be like, oh no, we still got some freedoms. We still got your freedoms. No, it's
only
over.
the beginning.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse from here. So this is a article from PBS News. Trump invokes 18th century law declaring quote unquote invasion by gangs to speed up mass deportations, claiming the United States was being invaded by a Venezuelan gang. President Donald Trump on Saturday invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Oh my God, dude, 1798? Going 227 years into the past. That's how you know you fucked up. Is you're like, we have to find a law from before like they invented.
Wasn't this the same law that was used during World War II to intern Japanese citizens?
I don't actually. You know what? Let's fact check that because I don't know.
It was something like that.
So there was an executive order. Part of the Alien and Sedition Act of 1798. Is that the same thing? Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Are these just
this was used names? This was used by FDR. I just saw a little bit of the article.
Wait, this is interesting. Aliens and Seditions Act. Under the new administration of Thomas Jefferson, only the Alien Enemies Act granting the president powers of detention and deportation of foreigners in wartime or during threatened invasion remained in force after 1802.
Well, we're not in
That's according to
or...
Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, we're not. I mean,
well,
I don't feel like any of us in North America are really at war right now. Like nobody's trying to invade us. It's just bullshit.
But it's a combination of things, right? Like you know how you play a card game and you can stack card effects. Like basically, remember when they gave the power to George W. Bush to go after terrorists without Congress's approval?
The Patriot Act.
Yeah, the Patriot Act, and then Trump declared Tren de Aragua. I think it's a Venezuelan gang.
Yep.
Venezuelans. Yeah.
It is a Venezuelan gang.
So he declared them a terrorist organization, and now he has the right. Well, he declared that that act, what was it called, the Alien Sedition Act.
Alien Enemies Act is what they're calling it now.
Yeah, so it's kind of like he's saying, well, we're fighting these guys, so technically we're at war with them. So I am enacting this, and some would argue illegally, to deport Tren de Aragua.
Well, one thing that we're going to get into here in a moment and mention at least a couple times throughout the rest of this podcast episode here is they're completely fucking ignoring the courts when the courts make any sorts of rulings against them.
Fingers crossed, I guess. I don't know.
Well, this is part of like the Hitlerian plan that they've put into motion, is they purged people who weren't loyal to MAGA and Trump from the administration, from government positions and shit like that.
Right.
Made it very unwelcome for those people, so...
Yeah, he started with like firing a bunch of generals, right? And then appointing to his cabinet complete loyalists. He did not choose any skilled politician, let's say. So you got your like Pete Hegseth, and there was this one other guy. It's the guy who told Trump that tariffs were a really good idea.
Peter Navarro, his financial advisor.
Peter Navarro. Which, by the way, if you look up his books, you'll see that he basically his biggest source in his books for his
he made it up.
He made it up. It's just an anagram of his name.
We talked about it on a previous episode. Yeah, it's insane.
Right. Yeah. So these are the kind of people that Trump's surrounding himself with. Just total sycophants, total loyalists.
It's a circle jerk.
Yeah, same thing with the FBI. Anyone that could potentially challenge him has been basically like replaced. And now
so exhausting.
We're in this like nightmare scenario where we don't really have a structure to tell Trump no anymore.
Exactly. That's one of the main differences between Trump term 1 and this term. Is that now it's like Trump completely unleashed. He's as crazy as he's ever been, just completely unhinged, mad with like rage and wants revenge on people.
And not only that, the Supreme Court's kind of like shot itself in the foot by saying that any quote unquote official act by the president cannot be prosecuted because they're just doing their job. So if
an official act,
yeah, so if Trump does something like, I don't know, pulls a crypto scam and someone tries to challenge him on that, well, it was an official act as president.
Official presidential crypto.
Or crashes the economy by placing reciprocal, quote-unquote, tariffs on every single country and territory in the world, and then buys a bunch of stock and then removes those tariffs after a small period of time, making himself extraordinarily more wealthy than when he put the tariffs on, then that's also an official act.
Yeah, he was hanging out in like the White House with a bunch of rich people on the day where he put out that tweet very early in the day. He's like, "It's a great time to buy the dip," or whatever the fuck he said. That's essentially what he said. And then the markets rebounded, and then later on, the panicking thing. It's a new party. Don't be a panicking. Don't be a little bitch boy. But do you see the video clip, right, where he's in there with a couple of billionaires, and he's like, "This person made 2.5 billion. This person made 900 million. That's pretty good."
This is Charles Schwab. It's not just a company, it's actually an individual. And he made 2.5 billion today, and he made 900 million. That's not bad.
Yeah. So we're gonna see more of this, but we are living in hell.
Yeah.
Literally, we are in hell right now. The biblical hell.
This we're gonna cover some of the more immigration stuff in depth in a second here, but let's read a little bit more of the article. As you're saying, Trump's declaration targets Tren de Aragua, contending it is a hostile force acting at the behest of Venezuela's government, which is nonsense. It didn't even really have that many members. Apparently, it's started to grow now, but who knows how much of that is being fucking, like wish cast into a fucking existence by these weirdos. Who knows how much that is potentially like the fucking CIA and America itself just like fucking, funneling people into it, doing weird shit where they're basically like creating it. You guys see that shit that exposed 4chan? It got fucking hacked the other day. People are saying it's gonna be down for good, but we'll see. But like a lot of the fucking mods on 4chan had like .gov email addresses. It was very strange. People are saying they were all fucking people are saying that they were all feds and they were all trying to fucking on purpose, like do like basically like create all this shit like kind of as I don't know, like I don't think you'd call it controlled opposition. It would basically just be like kind of creating chaos on purpose. Like it's very strange.
It's like what they did with QAnon.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, that's its own fucking rabbit hole.
It's like the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other, but it's glowies.
Yeah. FBI goes on 4chan and there's like a fucking some other fed from some other alphabet agency like, oh yeah, we're gonna gaslight this kid into doing a school shooting, and it's not even a kid, it's just like an FBI agent. They're just feds trying to gaslight each other on the internet.
It'd be funny if most of those .gov emails were traced back to like Doge.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Every single one of the hackers, like the young, basically like fresh out of college, or even like some of those kids are like in college. Like I think the youngest person working at Doge was like a CS freshman, which is fucking crazy to me.
I heard there was like 19-year-olds. Yeah, very strange. But
this Trump's declaration is basically an excuse to just profile like brown and like Latino people.
Well, you have Doge going into Social Security. You have Doge going into all of these different parts of government, and I heard a theory today that the reason that they were doing that was to grab information on potentially, like foreigners. Like that's why they wanted like all the student information from the Department of Education. So they could go after these college students. They could go after these immigrants. So they could give it to ICE. So they could just deport them.
Yeah, there's another element to that too with what they've been going on with the Department of Labor. There's a lot of fucking crazy shit going on. It's extremely hard to keep track of it at this point. So I want to read this too. So Trump's declaration comes the same day that a federal judge in Washington barred the administration from deporting 5 Venezuelans under the expected order, a hint at the legal battle brewing over Trump's move. It's been brewing and it's been going on, and it's just a nightmare, because like we were talking about before, these judges are making orders, and for the most part they're pretty good, but the Trump administration is just refusing to budge. They're refusing to actually like listen to the courts. This is what Trump's saying, some of his bullshit propaganda. Over the years, Venezuelan national and local authorities have ceded ever greater control over their territories to transnational crime organizations, including Trinidad. The result is a hybrid criminal state that is perpetrating an invasion of and predatory incursion into the United States, and which poses a substantial danger to the U.S. Yeah, I'm sure.
Didn't Venezuela just become our enemy because a few years back they tried to nationalize their oil profits? Something like that, kind of like what Iran tried to do.
Sounds about right.
In the 70s. Yeah. So Venezuela had a sort of like socialist leader. He was trying to do right by the people, and we can't have that. So we have to demonize them, and we have to sanction them, and we have to overthrow their government to install a puppet leader that will serve U.S. interests.
Tale as old as time. This has been going on for like over 100 years now. It's crazy, dude. Like this fucking like CIA-backed imperial action. Like, oh yeah, we just killed him in a aviation accident. Oh yeah, suddenly we have this new guy who's very, very friendly to the U.S. and ooh, he just happened to win this election in a landslide. Everybody's like, wait a minute, nobody I knew voted for this guy. So this is what we were talking about here. I want to jump forward a little bit in this article. The Trump administration appealed the initial restraining order, contending that halting a presidential act before it has even been announced would cripple the executive branch. If the order were allowed to stand, quote, district courts would have license to enjoin virtually any urgent national security action just upon receipt of a complaint. The Justice Department wrote in its appeal. I want to read this last little paragraph and a half here. The unusual flurry of litigation highlights the controversial act, which could give Trump vast power to deport people in the country illegally. It could let him bypass some protections of normal criminal and immigration law to swiftly deport those his administration contends are members of the gang. The White House has already God damn it. The White House has already designated Tren de Aragua a terrorist organization and is preparing to move about 300 people that identifies as members of the gang to detention in El Salvador. This sounds like, I don't think I've heard anybody else make this comparison necessarily, but this is even worse than like what the Soviets were doing when they were like banishing people to fucking, what's it called? Serbia? Because Serbia was part of the Soviet Union, right?
Yeah. It was Serbia or Siberia, or something like that.
No, Siberia, yeah.
Was Siberia part of the Soviet Union?
Because it's a part of Russia. So yeah, definitely.
Well, this reminds me a lot of like World War II history. Mostly innocent, law-abiding immigrants are legal immigrants are getting sent back to their home country because they are speaking out against the American government policy with the whole Gaza-Israel situation, the war, the genocide. They're doing other things too for election security sake, because the part of the reason that they're deporting these people is because they're like, oh, well, they're just coming over the border, and then the Democrats are letting them vote. They're voting
blue.
They're voting blue. If we didn't have as many illegals in this country as we do today, then I would have won all 100. I would have won all 50 states. Yeah. So, which is crazy to me because like more Latinos voted for Trump this time than they did any other time. Which is
and this thing that's going on, like this is a threat to anyone who's like Hispanic or Latino, especially if they're from like South America.
It's not just that. It's because they're going to start with people that they're considering to be Tren de Aragua. And then they're going to move on to different nationalities, and then they're going to move on to natural born citizens.
Yeah.
That's why we have to build five more prisons. They're just testing the waters right now, the fascist waters. Right. Yeah. And they're seeing what they can get away with. So if you are listening today, I would say call your local congressman, call your senator, go to whatever what is it called? Where the town halls. Yes, go to the town halls. Boo your representatives. Boo them. Shame them. Tell them you're not going to vote for them. Call them what they are. Call them capitulators. Go to protests too, like Hands Off. I think Hands Off is going to have another protest this 19th. So in a few days.
I'm going to pull up this article here that we had in the document. So this is from about a month ago. But there's some other details we can talk about too. This is the CNN article. What we know about the El Salvador mega prison where Trump is sending alleged Venezuelan gang members. El Salvador CCOP mega prison was notorious long before the Trump administration's recent decision to deport hundreds of alleged Venezuelan gang members there. The Center for Terrorism Confinement, to give it its full name, is considered the largest prison in the Americas with a capacity of 40,000 inmates, and has been the biggest symbol in the Latin American country's controversial crackdown on domestic crime. It is now home to some of the country's most hardened criminals, including mass murderers and gang members, billed as the, quote, worst of the worst. CCOT is notorious for the Spartan conditions in which they are kept. In a recent visit, CNN's David Culver and his team described cells built to hold 80 or so inmates where men are held 23 and a half hours a day, and, quote, the only furniture is tiered metal bunks with no sheets, pillows, or mattresses, an open toilet, a cement basin and plastic bucket for washing, and a large jug for drinking water. Some 10,000 to 20,000. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Did it say how many people are in a like in a room or in a cell?
80.
80. I heard somewhere like around 85 people, and these people are basically packed in like sardines. Like,
Yep.
I don't know if you remember the detention centers, the migrant detention centers during COVID, when people couldn't even like lay down on the cement floor, holding their space blanket to get some sleep.
Yeah.
But it reminds me a lot of that.
It says there's at least somewhere between 10 to 20,000 prisoners there. Reports of harsh conditions. Those deported by the U.S. got a taste of the prison's uncompromising policies as soon as they arrived Sunday morning. Officers held their heads down to waist level as they escorted them to the facility in shackles. The new inmates were then forced to kneel while prison guards shaved their hair and shouted commands. We were executing to the letter a regiment to which you will submit from this moment on, where prison security personnel will be treated with absolute respect. Is that clear? One officer shouts at the visibly disturbed inmates in a video shared by the Salvadoran government. Such brutal introductions have been a hallmark of the prison since it started housing inmates a few years ago. And then they go on to talk about how they deliberately deprive them of their human rights and anything that is, comfortable, pleasurable, anything. It's just pain, suffering. The lights are on 24/7. They're crowded in their cells. There's no privacy, no trace of comfort. They do not work. They are not allowed books or a deck of cards or letters from home. This is a quote from David Culver, who we mentioned was visiting. Plates of food are stacked outside the cells at mealtimes and pulled through the bars. No meat is ever served. The 30-minute daily respite is merely to leave the cell for the central hallway for group exercise or Bible readings. We believe in rehab, but just for common criminals. They go on to talk about how there's no fucking civil liberties or anything at all there. The article ends with, Bukele has admitted that some innocent people have been detained by mistake, but says several thousand of them have already been released. He argues that the tough measures have been necessary to transform the country from being dubbed the, quote, murder capital of the world, end quote, to what he now considers one of the safest on earth. Sorry, go ahead, Gord.
So from my understanding, and this is a layman's understanding, El Salvador was in a 12-year civil war. And I think after that, they had like really bad gang violence. And along comes Bukele, and he ends up, using his power to just round up anyone suspected of being in a gang. No due process, just shoves them in jail.
Yep.
And it did work, but I mean, like, did the ends really justify the means?
It's such a cost. Like,
right?
I don't believe this. Oh, it worked. Bullshit. Because, like, I'll just say this too. If you do like Hitlerian bullshit, if you act like an insane madman dictator and start just rounding people up with no due process, let's say that there's an effect on the society that you're doing this in, where people, at least outwardly, seem like they're behaving more and certain crime goes down. If you go, oh, hey, it worked, then basically what you're saying is, yeah, we're going to have this entire country live in fear constantly. We're going to have and not just, normal American paranoia and fear. Like, literally, like, I heard somebody say this earlier today when they were talking about kind of this type of stuff. They're saying, essentially, you have the sword of Damocles hanging over everybody, and everyone's worried that at any moment it's just going to fucking come down and kill them. So... Right. First of all, you have essentially just like mentally broken the society that you live in.
You buck broke them.
Yeah,
and
you're
beyond
the population at gunpoint.
Beyond that, yeah, like is that a society that you really want to live in? I would say no. Personally, no.
I think it started with him rounding up anyone that had a tattoo, because gang tattoos.
Yeah.
And also, I was going to say, I think I saw a video on this where El Salvador police, they have a quota to catch so many gang members like in a month,
Yeah, so they're just constantly throwing innocent people in jail.
Yeah, and there are people that are outside of. I don't know if it's this prison because CCOT, because people don't get out of CCOT. It might be another prison where you'll have loved ones that are just every night standing outside of the prison, just hoping that their family member will come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very scary place to live, because like you've literally replaced the fear of gangs with the fear of the federal government.
Yeah.
Which is even more dangerous than the gangs. Like,
congratulations, we got rid of the gang problem by instituting Hitler. Now everyone's scared of Hitler instead of the gangs. Like, congratulations, guys, you really fucking fixed it. So we have a couple more things. I kind of switched around the order of what we were going to talk about because we started talking about this. So I'm like, fuck it. We'll throw all the kind of immigration related stories and deportation related stories kind of in here. This is a story about a woman who's lived in the U.S. since she was 1 year old. She was deported to Laos, even though she's never been there since she was, I guess, a 1 year old. Milwaukee area woman deported to Laos, even though she's never been there, doesn't speak the language. I guess her parents were there. So she lived in Milwaukee since she was 8 months old. She was deported last week. The country she's never visited, and she's stranded in a rooming house surrounded by military guards. Ma Yang, 37, a mother of 5, says she does not speak the Lao language. She has no family or friends in the country, and that the military is holding all her documents. She was actually born in Thailand, the daughter of refugees after the Vietnam War. She was a legal, permanent U.S. resident until she pleaded guilty to taking part in a marijuana trafficking operation. Oh, here we go. You fucking smuggled some pot. We're sending you here to die. Oh, this is literally what she says here. The United States sent me back to die. There we go.
A drug that's basically legal in almost every single state in this country.
On some level, yeah.
Yes, on some level. Usually, even like the deep red states usually have like medical, or they have like, or or they have like laws like regarding like THCA and different THC variants. So in almost every state, even in Casper, Wyoming, you can get some form of weed.
So they go on to talk about this just fucking absolute travesty here. Apparently there's something going on with the U.S. considering Laos uncooperative because they're not accepting, they're accepting few, if any, deportees. 0 people were deported to Laos in the last fiscal year, according to federal data. They got Elon Musk in there like, we haven't deported enough people from this country. Let's send this back. Fuck her. Like, what? Once she arrived in the Laotian capital of, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I'm going to fuck it up. She says she was questioned by military authorities, then sent to a rooming house where guards did not allow her to leave or contact anyone for 5 days. She paced in circles around the compound and ate foods the guard gave her. Sounds like they sent her on a nice little vacation. A few days ago, she was taken to buy a cell phone and withdraw cash. She could finally reach out to her partner of 16 years, a U.S. citizen. The military official in charge of her situation, she does not know his rank or title, then said she could leave if she wanted, but she is scared to venture out. And I'll leave it on this quote from her. How do I rent or buy or do anything with no papers? I'm a nobody right now. She also has no insulin for her diabetes and dwindling supplies of high blood pressure medication.
We're basically sentencing this. It was a mother of 5.
Yes.
Very, very pro-family from the Conservative Party here.
I know, right?
You're sentencing this mother of 5 to just go die in a foreign country where she will basically be able to get 0 help.
Because she's not like a white U.S. citizen.
Right. Speaks the language, has been here for, so many years. Honestly, there should be a rule in the United States where if you've been here for like 10 years, it's an automatic green card. But
you just gotta hide in the Appalachian Mountains. I fucked up pronouncing that. You just gotta hide in them.
You actually pronounced it correctly.
You just gotta hide in the mountains, and then once you've been here for 10 years, you can come get your green card.
Yeah, you survive by selling moonshine to all the folks down the holler.
So we have another wonderful, lovely story here. U.S. citizen child recovering from brain cancer removed to Mexico with undocumented parents. The Texas family was on their way to an emergency medical checkup, they said, when they were detained at an immigration checkpoint. So a fucking child who is getting treatment for brain cancer has been deported with their undocumented parents by the Trump administration. A family that was deported to Mexico hopes they can find a way to return to the U.S. and ensure their 10-year-old daughter, who is a U.S. citizen, can continue her brain cancer treatment. Immigration authorities removed the girl and 4 of her American siblings from Texas on February 4th when they deported their undocumented parents. The family's ordeal began last month when they were rushing from Rio Grande City, where they lived, to Houston, where their daughter's specialist doctors are based for an emergency medical checkup. Like, literally, they're fucking evil, dude. The parents had done the trip at least 5 other times in the past, passing. Great writing here from NBC. Passing through an immigration checkpoint every time without any issues, according to attorney Danny Woodward. A legal advocacy and blah, 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 blah. In previous occasions, the parents showed letters from their doctors and lawyers to the officers at the checkpoint to get through, but in early February, the letters weren't enough. When they stopped at the checkpoint, they were arrested after the parents were unable to show legal immigration documentation. The mother said she tried explaining her daughter's circumstances to the officers, but they, quote, weren't interested in hearing all of that. Other than lacking valid immigration status in the U.S., the parents have no criminal history. U.S. Customs and Border Border Protection, which detained and deported the family, according to their lawyer, said in an email Wednesday, "For privacy reasons, we do not comment on individual cases." The 10-year-old girl was diagnosed with brain cancer last year and underwent surgery to remove the tumor. Doctors practically gave me no hope of life for her, but thank God she's a miracle, said the mother. The swelling on the girl's brain is still not fully gone, the mother said, causing difficulties with speech and mobility on the right side of her body. Before the family was removed from the U.S., the girl was routinely checking in with doctors, monitoring her recovery, attending rehab therapies, and taking medication to prevent convulsions. Fuck, you know what? I agree with Trump. Fuck this little girl. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
They don't believe in birthright citizenship, by the way. Just remember that. So this little girl in their eyes is not actually a citizen of the United States.
I seen something on Twitter where some guy was like, yeah, this is basically this website now. And it's people giving him shit because his name, I guess, is of Indian origin. Somebody's like, you're not a U.S. citizen, you're foreign. He's like, I was born here in the U.S. And they're like, you don't have an American last name, you're a foreigner.
An American last name?
Yeah, basically what they're saying is, you're not white. You're not white. What are you doing here? It's
thinly veiled white supremacy. It's like...
It's barely veiled at all.
Every story we've covered with all of the ICE detainees is just anti-family, pro-genocide, pro-separating people from their loved ones. It's just evil.
Just outright white supremacy. Pete Hegseth, people have been pointing out for a while now, he's just got straight up Nazi tattoos. Like white supremacist tattoos.
Like Deus Vult, I think he's got on him or something.
That's
or
nowhere near even the worst one. Yeah, he's got like...
It was like the cross from the Crusades.
Yeah, a lot of like Nazis and souls like the Crusaders.
Yeah, if you actually, it's so crazy. We were talking about 4chan being like a honeypot for feds.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of like the Deus Vault memes come from, like the Chan sites.
Oh, yeah. With the whole 4chan mods being fucking exposed as feds thing, when you really think about it, 4chan lingo like seeped its way through the internet into real life. People talking about like chads, people talking about incels and looks maxing, people sharing Pepes on all these sites. You know what I mean? It's almost like it was a concerted effort to manipulate society and culture.
They manipulated us with memes.
Yeah,
it's even little things like people saying video.
Yep.
Or video games like.
What's fucking everywhere? Green text and shit. Formatting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I do like a decent amount of it.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that I'm not going to say that there was never anything funny on 4chan ever.
They call themselves anonymous. They are hackers on steroids.
Treating the web like a real-life video game.
Green card holder from New Hampshire interrogated at Logan Airport and detained. A New Hampshire man with a green card was detained by immigration officers at Logan Airport and is being held by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement at a detention facility in Rhode Island. Fabian Schmidt's family said they were unsure of why he is being held. They said he has a recently renewed green card and no active issues in court. Schmidt had been visiting Luxembourg and flew back to the U.S. on Friday. His partner had gone to pick him up at Logan Airport and waited 4 hours before calling authorities. It was just said that his green card was flagged, said his mother. She said she didn't hear from her son directly until Tuesday when she learned he'd been hospitalized. Senior described Schmidt being, quote, violently interrogated at Logan Airport for hours and being stripped naked, put in a cold shower by 2 officials, and being put back onto a chair. She said Schmidt told her immigration agents pressured him to give up his green card. She said he was placed on a mat in a bright room with other people at the airport with little food or water, suffered sleep deprivation, and was denied access to his medication for anxiety and depression. Quote, he hardly got anything to drink, and then he wasn't feeling very well, and he collapsed, said Senior. He was transported by ambulance to Mass General Hospital. He didn't know it at the time, but he also had influenza. On Tuesday, Schmidt was transported to the regional headquarters for ICE in Burlington, Massachusetts, and then transferred to the wide facility. The family, including his partner, who is a cardiologist in Nashua, wait, how do you pronounce that?
I think you got it right.
You got it right, yeah.
Okay. Have acquired attorneys and have been working with the German consulate in hopes to have him released on bail. Schmidt and his mother moved to the U.S. in 2007 and received green cards in 2008. He moved from California to New Hampshire in 2002. He is described as a hardworking electrical engineer with a partner and an 8-year-old daughter who are both U.S. citizens. Fabian said to me that he feels very fearful and frightened. No shit. This is like the only thing that they're bringing up to maybe be like, well, it could be this. Schmidt had a misdemeanor. God damn it. Schmidt had a misdemeanor charge for having weed in his car in 2015, which his mother said was dismissed after laws changed in California around marijuana possession. He missed a hearing about the case in 2022 since a notice was never forwarded to his new address. Senior mentioned that Schmidt is successfully recovering from alcoholism and had a DUI that he's completely worked through and paid off from around 10 years ago.
So this guy is just, normal dude, maybe had some troubles in the past. And by the way, this is a white German man.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is fucked. We're just torturing people now.
Yep, there was another story.
Green card.
There was another story that I read, and I'll be honest, take it with a grain of salt because I can't find it again. But this was a story where somebody was essentially picked up off the street, tortured by ICE, and then just like thrown back onto the street like later on. And then ICE had no record of them being picked up, no record of them being like interrogated or anything, being in their custody at all. So ICE is essentially like the Gestapo now. I mean, I guess all fucking law enforcement in the U.S. is essentially some type of Gestapo, but ICE is fucked up and they've been let loose and they're going crazy to the point where they are essentially, I don't know, like Nazi force of like weirdos that just go around torturing people, kidnapping them. They're in like plain clothes too a lot of the time. So, if people
like secret police, like.
Well, what I want to know is what. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Gord.
I was just gonna say that like ICE is making like the regular state police look like the Boy Scouts,
Seriously.
Well, what I was thinking, which is crazy in America, because these ICE officers are rolling up in plain clothes a lot of the time and like trying to kidnap people. Don't you realize that you're in America and a lot of people like might have guns on them? Like, are you trying to get fucking blasted in the middle of the street? Like, it just seems so insane to be doing this shit in America. Well, as America,
a lot. I don't know what a lot of these I don't know if a lot of these foreigners I don't know if they're like big into gun culture or if they even have the right in some cases, maybe they can't own and possess firearms,
I mean, in the US though, as a cop, we already know that they basically treat most people like they could be carrying a gun, even if, legally they're not allowed. Because you got fucking guns everywhere. You got gun culture in the U.S. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I get where you're coming from. Like, that makes sense. But, like, when you think about it, it makes sense. But also, you're in America and you're a cop. And they train them to be fucking so aggressive and just treat everyone like they could fucking potentially shoot them. You know what I mean? It just seems like in this instance, like, why would you at least not have some sort of identification? I don't know. It's just stupid. Sorry, go ahead.
I looked this up, and this is from the ATF website. And alien legally in the U.S. is not prohibited from purchasing firearms unless the alien is admitted into the U.S. under a non-immigrant visa and does not meet one of the exceptions as provided in 18 USC, whatever the fuck that is. It doesn't explain any further. So they are not prohibited from purchasing firearms unless they don't meet some. Yeah. But I don't know if they are, a part of like the American gun culture. Maybe they don't think that they are, because a lot of natural born citizens love firearms and use them for, open carry or concealed carry or home defense.
Yeah, fucking open carry. Shit is so unhinged.
Bro, I saw like a meme. It's just like two fat guys wearing camo at a McDonald's. And they have like 4 rifles on them each.
What? 4 rifles? How does that even work?
If I find it, I can actually ask one of my coworkers to send it to me. I'll post it in the Discord.
They just have like a bunch of straps.
Yeah.
Like they got a gun rack on their back.
Yeah, basically, like they're carrying like AKs and shit, like multiple.
Probably a bunch of like ammo and stuff too. So
I don't know.
I only need a half-filled magazine, brother.
I'll find the picture.
I don't need that many bullets. I just need a few feet of room to swing this rifle.
I was talking to my coworkers about the picture, and these are literally like the same as like dudes wearing like gold chains or like designer clothes with the tag still on them. This is just a flex.
It's even more than that. It goes even further.
They're also a hair away from like being fucking mass shooters.
Potentially, yeah, but there is something like these 2 guys in the picture are like morbidly fucking obese. Morbidly. Like, I would be surprised if they could run to cover, duck without just getting winded.
Yeah.
Someone could easily probably like, I guess, disarm them on that merit maybe. If they're behind them, they wouldn't be able to like, swing around.
Yeah, their back's too big. Big back.
Like a bunch of people could just, tumble them over.
Mm-hmm.
Cow tipping.
I call it boy tipping. Ha ha ha.
Boy. All right.
Sorry.
Revokes the degrees of 22 students.
So I want to mention this quickly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You can revoke someone. You paid for that degree.
I know.
You completed the courses.
Insane.
That's insane. You have the training. You can't just revoke a degree.
It's DEI.
Yeah, DEI actually stood for economy intact, and as soon as they removed it, everything just collapsed.
It's DUMB. Dumb as shit.
So the headline here from the Middle East Eye: Columbia University expels, suspends, and revokes degrees of 22 students. The move comes after Trump demanded several changes to be instituted at the university in return for federal funding. I believe that not only was federal funding not reinstated, but a bunch of these universities, like I know Harvard, they're trying to remove the tax exempt status from these universities and cut government funding to them. And somebody was just like, "Oh yeah, goodbye to any prestige that the American education system ever had. Not like any of the schools were actually good beyond the fucking secondary education, like fucking colleges and universities. Like they had some prestige, but now it's just all gone."
A lot of these universities, like Harvard, for instance, Harvard just went tuition free for its students. I think that they will probably be fine without government funding. I think because they own so much real estate.
They're losing tax exempt status too. Like there's a lot of shit going on. Or at least the Trump administration is trying to do that.
Very anti-intellectual.
They're anti-education. They're anti-family. They're basically just evil. Like they
love
are
dumb people.
the nexus of all evil.
We love the uneducated. I love them. They love me. I love the poorly educated. This is an actual quote from, by the way. We love the poorly educated.
On Thursday, the university announced it was expelling, suspending, and revoking the degrees of 22 students following last year's Hamilton Hall protests, fulfilling one of the 9 demands issued in a letter from the Trump administration to Columbia. The university board. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? So I don't know if anyone listening has a college degree. Probably, probably a good amount of you do. But a lot of jobs, I will just ask you for like a PDF of your degree, and a lot of them won't check whatever website does the check for I think it's like some gov website that actually checks for your full name, your social, or whatever, and checks whether or not you actually are telling the truth. But a lot of people will just accept that piece of paper. So if you already have like a copy of your degree, I say fuck it. Who cares if the university says you have it or not, or if it's valid?
I know. Well, you could just be like, I know the information. I can do the job.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There you go.
And if you've already had experience working, which I don't think these kids have, because the whole cracking down, it's a kind of a new thing in the recent months. So I just say bluff and just say you have your degree. Fuck them.
I mean, they were cracking down on them before when Biden was in office, but this is taking it even further. This is demented.
Did we read this article? I'm sorry.
What's up? Which one?
Did we read part of this article, or are we done with this one?
I'm gonna read a little bit more of it.
Okay.
Previously, the board had only suspended students. One of the demands made by the Trump administration is to eliminate the University Judicial Board. It's crazy that the president is literally going in and trying to micromanage how this university operates because Israel was they were mean to us.
Well, these universities are a business, right? They are here to make money at the end of the day, which is kind of fucked up, but it is what it is. And if you're fucking with that money, which is government money that they're getting, then a lot of directors aren't going to be fucking happy.
It goes even further than that, too, because a lot of these universities, like you were saying, they not only do some of their own real estate or whatever, they're making business moves, but they also invest in a lot of companies that benefit fucking the Israeli government indirectly or directly, or they're invested in companies that are selling arms to Israel or whatever.
Yeah, that's why these students are there. They want the university
to divest.
Exactly. They want them to divest from the Israeli government and stop supporting them while they're committing a genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. It's so fucking crazy. You can't say that enough, right? You cannot say the word genocide enough.
But do you condemn Hamas?
Sure.
But do you condemn Hamas? But do you?
If any idiot asks me that,
does Israel have a right to defend itself, Gord?
Does Israel have the right to
Don't
defend
answer
itself?
that. It's rhetorical.
They're doing a pretty. They're doing a really good job of it right now, right? I mean, I guess.
Some
would say too good of a job.
On a big picture scale, this is like somebody throwing a rock at you that kind of fucks you up a little bit, and you respond by pulling out a grenade launcher and blowing them into fucking blood and guts and red mist.
Right.
They're a reasonable response.
And then all of the people surrounding you that just saw you blow that guy up are like, "What the fuck, man?"
You're like, "Hey,"
and some of them,
I got a right to self-defense.
and and then some of those people are like, "Hey, that's not cool. We need to stop this guy."
And then you try and ruin their lives for fucking daring criticize you for blowing that person up.
Yeah, and then Israel's bigger brother, the United States, comes and they kick the Yemenis down to the ground and spit on them.
More like Israel's cucked gimp slave.
They're very powerful cucked gimp slave.
You see the video of Netanyahu visiting fucking DC or whatever, and Trump pulls out the chair for him and is acting like his little bitch boy. I just tweeted out, I'm like,
I thought you were about to say he pulled out his cock and he started sucking it.
Everyone wants to suck the winner's cock. But
It's
no,
beautiful.
I saw that and I just tweeted out casually, like, I wonder what blackmail material Netanyahu has on Trump, because it's like it's a humiliation
Photos of him-
ritual.
Photos of him sucking his cock.
Yeah, probably.
Orange dick pics.
Photos of him sucking Ray Cohn's cock or whatever.
It looks like a tiny Cheeto puff.
Oh man. Okay.
I forget sometimes that this is also like partially kind of like a comedy podcast in a way. You know, it's a political comedy podcast where we talk about nothing but depressing things.
So another thing we have to talk about here is Trump essentially starting war with Iran and Yemen. We're gonna read an article, or at least some of an article here in a sec, from Ken Klippenstein. But we also have this video that I just want to play. I just want to play this clip of Trump talking about this shit.
The IDF is fighting together in the Gaza Strip. I myself might be called up.
Dude, Trump looks
Do you think that's
awful.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is aged like the past 8 years. It's like he's lost weight in his face, and it's more wrinkled and it's more droopy, it's more saggy.
Yeah, his
The Ozempic.
jowls are baggier now.
His eyes look like more,
Sunken in.
more sunken in, and he just looks, in a way, he looks less goofy and he looks more serious now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
Ozempic
straight-
got him looking like a fucking something between a ghoul and a high elf.
It's kind of scary.
to pressure Hamas to get to a deal? And do you think blocking humanitarian aid is also an effective pressure tactic?
Well, you know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate.
What a fucking piece of shit.
God.
That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about sending aid to the people in Gaza, to the Palestinian people there.
Trump can't
and
think
Trump
of it
is
in
like-
any other terms, though.
Yeah, he's just salivating over the idea that he'll get prime real estate. It's prime real estate. And remember the video, like the AI video? I think it was like Elon Musk.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, Elon Musk reposted it where it's like golden statues of Trump and Elon with like a hula girl dancing, beaches being served like fruit cocktail drinks.
Did you see the Quarterings cookbook, or no, it's like a drink mix book.
It's the MAGA cookbook. He is selling the MAGA cookbook, by the way.
Yeah.
How to
It
make
has
the quarter
Trump
pounder.
and like JD Vance on it.
Fucking grifting piece of shit. I hope he goes bankrupt from his coffee bullshit.
I hope he fucking fuck that piece of shit.
Seriously. He's a
And I
fucking
think
sex
it's some-
pest too. Like
I want him to go through becoming. Yeah, I want him to eventually end up like Only Use Me Blade, having to do like fire sales and just devolve into just a sad alcoholic.
I
I
want
think
to
he
see
already
him go
is
through
an
the trials and
alcoholic.
tribulations of Job, like in the Bible.
Right, except there's no heaven at the end. It's only hell.
Yeah, he just burns in hell for eternity.
Something that we would be involved in, but you
Yeah,
know,
thanks for this very necessary caption. Donald Trump, U.S. president.
having a peace force like
Probably the most well-known person in the fucking world at this point.
the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing.
His hands.
Because right now, all it is for years and years,
Classic
all I hear
Trump
about is
gesture.
killing and Hamas and problems. And if you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, and you really have a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free.
Call it the Freedom Zone.
it's not even true. They have nowhere else to go. Like
What a
that's their
bunch of
home,
bullshit.
and they're being killed there.
We're going to
don't know how many of
ethnically
you-
cleanse it, but we're not going to call it that. It's going to be great.
I don't know how many of you guys are like familiar with the Armenian genocide, but
Yeah, slightly.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Turks pushed the Armenians out of their homeland and into other countries, right? So
Yeah.
this is also another form. This is another form
Yeah.
of genocide and ethnic
Genocide through
cleansing.
displacement, yeah.
So we have death camps potentially. We have talks of pushing people out of their homeland, their native homeland, and we have talks of buying Greenland or taking it by military force. Same with Canada,
Yeah.
and also going to war with Mexico.
Threatening the sovereignty of other countries.
Right. So I don't know if you guys remember
Consolidating
like,
power.
This is like another World War II parallel. Hitler took the Rhineland, the Sudetenland. He took part of Poland, split it with the USSR.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
more
he-
than one Hitler.
Went to war with France, took over France. That's why they love Putin, dude. Because it's like, you're just like me.
I'm
Yep,
Hitler.
you know.
You're Hitler. We can be Hitler together.
So this is so many fucking parallels to Nazi Germany, the rise of Nazi Germany. Except I feel like Hitler was doing a way better job, because I feel like listen. Trump is like insanely fucking incompetent, and they're trying
dementia and
they're trying the carrot or the stick approach right now with
The
the
least
tariffs
competent Hitler.
right, yeah. This is a man who looks up to Hitler, who loves dictators.
Even amongst Hitlers, you are a dumbass. I can't
Yeah,
even-
70 IQ Hitler.
The dumbest version of Hitler.
we need to call this episode "Everything's Hitler." Like everything's computer.
Yeah.
Everything's
What is-
Hitler.
Kanye's Hitler.
He's Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Kanye is literally on Twitter like, "Hey guys, somebody sent me this awesome picture of me, and it's like Hitler, except it's my face photoshopped onto him. This is awesome. Please send me more pictures like this."
I will say this: he is being kind of based. He bought a bunch of trans porn
No, he's
actors.
not.
No.
Wait,
This
what?
is
What are you talking about?
Sure.
This is the based part. This is the based part. He met with a bunch of trans porn stars, right? And he bought them all a bunch of like Italian handbags.
Is being the tryptamine is being a chaser based?
No.
Well, let's get to the bottom of this.
Okay. He's moderately pro-trans. That's
I don't know if he is
I
though.
think he's just trying to get attention. Like,
right.
he's doing it for attention. Like,
I
But
mean,
if you're a trans porn actor and this guy bought you a handbag, are you gonna turn it down? I wouldn't.
see, I think the main issue is that Kanye does not have the ability to really be a normal person and do any
No.
of that shit in like a normal way. So I saw some of the shit he was posting. He was basically posting like trans pussy got me acting, like strange and things like that. And I was like, that pussy got me acting strange up in Twitter.com. I don't know, dude. He was just posting all sorts of crazy shit.
He's talking mad shit about like Taylor Swift. I think Kanye is a very entertaining man in these times. I'll leave it at that.
See, the thing is, I think Trump on
he's like
some
a
level.
cow now.
I think Trump on some level is entertaining, but he's also like captain of the
Yeah,
evil empire right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon as we started watching this video, like you guys both laughed at him. Like
Because he's funny, and that's not an endorsement of him. It's he's
why
just
he-
fucking
no,
funny.
yeah.
That's why he has a base. That's why he has a cult and gets
I
votes.
know.
It's because he's entertaining. That's it. Like, it's
right, yeah.
He's just
It's-
a
it's-
fucking weird little fucking like eccentric dumb piece of shit. But I can't help but laugh at him, even though I hate him and I know he's evil because he's too fucking funny. And this is one thing that like really frustrates me with a lot of leftists. Maybe we've talked about this on here before, but like when they can't acknowledge that he's funny, when they're just like, no, he's not funny,
Right.
actually, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, I don't disagree with you on any of that, but he is like, he has this natural like
Charisma.
yeah, I don't
sense
even
of-
know if I'd call it charisma. Maybe you'd call it charisma, but I just think it's like
anti-charisma.
he is
It's like an air of
he is the master of unintentional stupidity and comedy that flows like from that.
Right,
Like
yeah.
when he got in
Him
the
and
Tesla and he's
Kanye.
like, everything's computer. Like that was, I would say more than like charismatic, he is iconic. But I don't mean that in a positive way. He's an icon of like we were talking about the evil empire, the stupidity of Americans, the
hate,
ignorance,
vitriol.
the hubris, the arrogance, the ego, all of it. And that's
Bigotry,
why I
like-
think Americans on some level love him so much, even people that fucking
Yeah.
hate him.
yeah. Yeah, let's keep playing this video.
Nobody's ever, dude. I'm sorry. I'll play this in a sec, but like,
Yeah,
I'll say this
Check.
again about The Apprentice, the Trump movie that I watched last night. The guy that plays Trump, by the end of the movie, I'm like, he is Donald Trump. Like, it's
Spot
incredible.
on.
Dude, the mouth movements where like Trump curls his lips and he kind of does like the King Cobra carp lips almost. He had that down. He had the way he looked down. He had the way he was talking
He's
down.
doing it now.
His facial expressions, everything. No, I know. That's what I'm talking about. It's him. Dude, I'm telling you, watch that movie. It's actually a really good movie.
Zone where people are going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place. That's a hell of a, you know what I call it, a great location that nobody wants to live in because they really don't. And when they
Except
have
for
when they have good
Palestinians, they
living,
wanna
real
fucking
living,
live
where
there.
Hamas and all of the problems they have, the level of death on the Gaza Strip is just incredible.
I love how he's like, nobody
wonder
wants
why.
to. Yeah, nobody
I
wants to
wonder
live
why.
there. Nobody wants to live there. 2 seconds later, they're killing everyone there. It's like, yeah, I think we figured out why.
Yeah, no one wants to live there except me. I'll make it great again.
And he's saying that the killing is like incredible. Like he likes it.
Once again,
killing.
it's this passive way that the West talks about what goes on in Gaza. Oh, the killing. Okay, well, who's doing the killing? It's the fucking Israelis who are killing the Palestinians en masse.
Yeah, with weapons the U.S. gives them.
Yep. I mean, there's no
We
fucking
ba-
pussyfooting around it. Like, that's what's going on, and everyone can see it.
Right, yeah. And a lot of it, like, I think it's like over 60% of Americans do not support the war in Gaza, or at least don't support Israel in the war on Gaza.
It's crazy calling it a war, too, because, like...
Yeah, they don't support the genocide.
Yeah, I'm not even coming at either of you for calling it a war, because I've definitely used that term before to describe it. But it really is, like, part of almost the manufactured... I don't know if I'd say manufactured consent, but the manufactured debate, the manufactured propaganda that surrounds this from all these sides.
Yeah, just a reminder that these people, like, they're using like starvation as a tactic. They have no medicine there.
Collective punishment.
Water. Yeah, the majority of people that have died from all the bombings have been majority like civilian. A lot of them women and children. I think Gaza had like one of the highest populations of just children, right? So, but the Israelis will say, oh, well, they're using them as human shields. So what are you supposed to do? You're just supposed to blow through the human shield to kill whoever you need to. So
They're not even trying to hide it. So
well, that's how they're hiding it. That's their defense. That it's like, oh, well, they're using, civilians and they're hiding within like civilian areas. So that's why we have to blow up the civilian areas. I remember like years ago when we were debating like whether or not they were bombing hospitals. And I remember someone saying, no, they're not bombing hospitals. They're bombing in the parking lot.
And how many hospitals have they bombed since then and nobody says anything now?
I think it was Vegan Gains who said that dumb shit.
Yeah,
oh
dumb
my god,
fuck.
of course.
Yeah, Vegan Gains, just a Destiny orbiter.
Vegan Gains got no
Piece of
brains.
shit.
Stupid piece of shit.
Fucking Epstein.
Epstein.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
what's
gold.
going on now.
So he's been like revenge porning people, right? Like he films them without their consent when they have sex.
Yeah, he's been doing like a Harvey Weinstein kind of thing too, where he'll also pressure women to have sex with him so that he can give them clout.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've seen a lot of
currently,
exposés in the last several months on Destiny. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yeah,
He's a fucking insane like sex pervert criminal.
He's a weirdo. He's a cuck.
Not much better than Vosh. Like,
and he sucked Nick Fuentes' penis.
Yeah. There's a little bit more of this Trump clip, but we still have so much to talk about here.
You said not much better than Vosh. That is 100% true because Destiny also is one of these bread tubers or left tubers or dem tubers or whatever the fuck you want to call them. One of the like online like left wing Twitch streamers who will defend their attraction to like minors and say, well, I'm not technically a pedophile because I'm attracted to a 15-year-old and I'm not exclusively attracted to 15-year-olds.
Actually, it's a phebophilia. Mr. Reddit fucking coming in here.
Technically, I'm not even a phebophile because that would imply that I'm exclusively attracted to them. Piece of
PJ has
shit.
entered the room.
Jared Genesis has entered the chat. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
how we had
now
the same
Jared.
thought there.
It'd be funny. Jared comes out. It's like Destiny did nothing wrong. Just shows you
Oh
he
my
will
God.
do anything. He will jump through any hoop to defend a pedophile.
Yep. Go
Actually,
ahead,
hey
Trip.
guys, I have to leave. I gotta have.
Oh, sorry.
I have to have. I have to have dinner. I gotta go out to do that. So I gotta head out
Alright.
now. I hope you guys can finish the episode without me. So
No problem, Gord. We will talk
Yeah.
to you soon.
see you.
All right, we got a few things we can talk about quickly. We got an article from Ken Klippenstein here. Trump is now at war with Iran. Without the American press even noticing, Donald Trump has started a war with Iran. On February 28th, the U.S. military announced that 2 B-52 heavy bombers flying from an undisclosed location in the Middle East, which I can report is the country of Qatar, dropped bombs on another undisclosed location, which was Iraq. The message wasn't lost on neighboring Iran, whose state media warned that the B-52s are nuclear-capable bombers carrying a message whose recipient was clear as day, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Clear as day in the Middle East, perhaps, but not in the U.S., where the show of force was barely reported at all. The Pentagon, masters of obscuring controversial things they're doing behind sleep-inducing jargon, insisted that the B-52 exercises were merely to assure regional partners to support security and stability in the region, and so on. Then, on March 9th, a second bomber demonstration was made. B-52s flew alongside Israeli fighter jets on long-range missions, practicing aerial refueling and joint operations. Again, the American press missed the story, though not the Israeli press, which correctly reported the real purpose of the operation, readying the Israeli military for a potential joint strike with the U.S. on Iran. The military preparations culminated this week in a set of U.S. airstrikes on Houthi leadership in Yemen. On Sunday, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz bragged to ABC that the operation took out top Houthi officials, making it very clear that this is all about Iran. They have a quote from Waltz, but I'm not going to read it because he is a piece of shit who doesn't even deserve to be in that role, which says a lot considering that role is usually held by piece of shit war criminals anyways. That's just a little editorializing on my part, but at that point, this is Ken talking here. I thought the news media would finally get the message, but the coverage instead adhered to the sterile language of the Pentagon, framing the strikes as focused on logistical targets and a mere continuation of the Biden administration's small bore strategy of degrading Houthi capabilities. A representative example appears in the New York Times Sunday article on the attack, calling the attack similar to those of the Biden administration. Per the article, air and naval strikes ordered by President Trump hit radar, air defenses, and missile and drone systems in an effort to open international shipping lanes in the Red Sea that the Houthis have disrupted for months with their own attacks. They go on to talk about how a lot of this has been a largely failed operation. There's a little bit more here. They go on to talk about Trump's Truth Social posts and whatnot. But I just wanted to bring this up because Ken's highlighting particularly that nobody's really talking about a lot of this stuff in the American press. It gets maybe a few minutes of play, and then it's just whatever. And then there's no talking about the wider implications of any of this. There's no talking about, what's actually going on here. Just basically ignored.
Yeah, it's definitely deliberately swept under the rug.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's funny because people have been making jokes about World War fucking 3 or whatever kicking off. And people have been talking about that for the last few years, but I've kind of been feeling lately that World War 3 has kind of already begun. And we're kind of living through what is later going to be viewed as the beginning of it, the regional things that then kind of escalated into World War III. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree. I think it's just the beginning. I think the war with Russia and Ukraine was just the beginning of what's about to potentially unfold. There's still tension between Japan and Russia over unsettled islands.
Yeah,
that's escalating again.
I'm reminded of when fucking JD Vance and Trump were basically, trying to ambush Zelensky when he visited the White House and have this like viral moment where they're like shit talking him to his face. Oh, you don't have the cards. You didn't even say thank you. Why are you not wearing a suit? All this stupid bullshit. And something that a lot of outlets that reported on it left out was kind of the substance of what like Zelensky was actually saying when he was there talking to them, which is kind of like, you think that this doesn't concern you now. You think that this isn't going to affect you. But, you know, if you fucking think back to like World War II, it started with Nazi Germany invading nearby countries, and then it just fucking spread out from there. And I'm worried. I'm worried as a Canadian because I see almost like the US in that way now. I see like Russia like that. I'm also worried that like China is potentially trying to do that, but in a more like China has like a different strategy with it, like the Belt and Road Initiative. They're doing their imperialism more kind of in a sneaky way. But sorry, you were gonna say something?
There's also China's doing like the Uyghur Muslim like genocide.
Yeah. All these countries are responsible for horrible fucking atrocities. That's what I was trying to get at when I was having a conversation a while back that I came across again the other day when I was looking for something on my Twitter. I was having a conversation with somebody like, there's no like good guys in this situation. And
there really isn't, yeah.
I almost feel that way about World War II as well. Like, there definitely are bad guys in World War II who were fucking the worst of the worst. And I don't even need to qualify that because it's obvious who it was. Fucking. But like, you look at everything that's been done over the last 100 years, 125 years, whatever, since the start of World War I and what led up to that and everything since then. It's just been like in its totality, just a cacophony of human suffering. We think that we've advanced in so many ways, but yeah, we're still fucking violent, aggressive, can't keep our shit together. We can't respect other people. We can't respect the sovereignty of other nations or anything.
The world's a ticking time bomb. Like at this point, it feels like.
It really does feel like that. We do have some other stories here, but let's just fucking go through like a kind of lightning round of them. So we have Trump calling Canada one of the nastiest countries to deal with.
One of the nastiest countries to deal with.
It's so mean to me.
Than you are with some of our biggest adversaries.
Only because it's meant to be our 51st Street.
Okay,
but listen to this for a second.
We need their territory. They have territorial advantage. We're not going to let them get close to China.
If you guys
deal with every country
the
indirectly,
state, you would just maximize like the blue vote.
We'd be dem-maxing, bro.
Yeah.
Directly. One of the nastiest countries to deal with is Canada.
One of the nastiest countries.
Like, what a deranged, stupid thing to say. Canada, if they're known for anything, it's being incredibly mean. Okay, so we have an article here. I don't even like, there's part of me that wants to read it to kind of give people more information on it, but I feel like that would be qualifying and validating this stupid ass shit where Trump wants to seek a third term. I mean, that's basically it. Trump is trying to find a way to seek a third term and legitimize himself as, in my opinion, president for life. Like, he never wants to leave. He wants to be like Xi Jinping or Putin or whatever. There's also rumors here that Elon is leaving the Trump administration. Once again, though, it's like a lot of rumors and speculation. We'll have to see. But I remember hearing months ago that the whole Doge thing was only supposed to be like a 3 or 4 month rapid fire kind of executive approved thing where they would go in and we're supposed to cut this and that. And then it wasn't supposed to last that long. So we'll see what happens there. But another Doge story is that they've fired over 10,000 people under an early retirement scheme from the USPS.
So they tricked people into early retirement, or?
So let me pull this up here. Sorry, I'm just dying.
It's all right.
So the Postmaster General told Congress today that he signed an agreement to work with Doge to cut jobs and spending. The USPS is planning to eliminate 10,000 jobs in the next 30 days through a voluntary early retirement program. And this was published about a month ago. Catching up on some stuff that I want to talk about that Doge has been doing. So yeah, they're trying to essentially destroy like every public institution that exists in America. I have some other stuff. We do have this I want to leave on a positive note tonight. So we have this story here. Senator who pushed Trump derangement syndrome bill busted for child solicitation, says the cops. So a senator who is very pro-Trump has been busted being a pedophile. A state senator from Minnesota was arrested this week for allegedly trying to meet up with an underage sex worker who was actually an undercover cop posing as a 17-year-old girl in what politicians and police are condemning as a deeply disturbing case of child solicitation. Quote, as a 40-year-old man, if you come to Orange Jumpsuit District looking to have sex with someone's child, you can expect that we are going to lock you up. Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges said in a goddamn, I like that name, said in a statement and press release. Yeah, Booker Hodges.
Orange Jumpsuit District.
Yeah, I was wondering, what the hell is that? Orange Jumpsuit District?
A prison? Like, feels like a joke. Is it just alluding to prison? Like, oh, I see.
They're talking about their red light district. They're basically like, if you even go there, we will arrest you, I guess.
Yeah, so it's alluding to prison. Yep.
I have always advocated stiffer penalties for these types of offenses, Hodges says. We need our state legislator to take this case and this type of conduct more seriously. Eichhorn, who grabbed the headlines recently, this is the pedophile Eichhorn, for his lobbying in support of a Trump derangement syndrome bill in the Gopher state. He is accused of contacting the undercover cop over the phone to arrange a meeting with them on Monday at a location in Bloomington, which is 10 miles south of Minneapolis. The GOP senator went to meet the purported teen sex worker near the 8300 block of Normandale Avenue in Bloomington, where authorities swooped in and busted him. Eichhorn was observed arriving in the area by pickup truck. He was arrested without incident outside of his vehicle by uniformed police officers, felony charges of solicitation of somebody under 18 years of age. Hold up. I totally butchered that. Felony charges of soliciting under 18-year-old. The way this is written. Felony charges of soliciting under 18-year-old to practice prostitution are pending from the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. Fellow politicians have spoken out against Eichhorn for his arrest, and Senate Republicans released a statement on Tuesday that called for him to resign. I like how they have to still force him to resign. Can't just be like, oh, he's a pedophile. Yeah, you're gone. You're gone. Goodbye. He was booked into the jail. He was scheduled to be transported to the Hennepin County Adult Detention Center as he awaits his first court date. So he is in fact in prison. Somebody said resign in disgrace, prosecute to the fullest, throw away the key. And I have to agree there. Soundboard concurs. All right, that's all we have for tonight. It's unfortunate that Gord had to leave a little bit early, but it is what it is. All right, thank you for coming on, Trip. Let me know if you're down to come on the stream later, too.
All right, I'll see you in a bit.
All right, take care.
You as well.
That's the show for tonight. You guys have a good one. Take care.